board. Right. Good evening, everybody. This is about children. I know we tend to forget our children because they're energetic and we feel that they don't need any real attention as regards preventative approaches. But this presentation is exactly to highlight why they need them. And hopefully we'll have a different viewpoint on the whole issue. So I'll just move on to the next slide. And to say that a lot of mothers know that their kids fall sick and it is very, very unpleasant. And, you know, they will take them to the doctor, obviously. And the common signs and symptoms are as these, especially if in the whole mix there is malnutrition as well. Short for age, thin or bloated, dull and listless, a weakened immune system whereby the child is always sick. They may have a poor appetite and all the challenges of that. And then mood disorders and all sorts of other things. So we often take our children to the doctor for attention, and obviously they'll be treated in the conventional way, which means being given antibiotics and issues like that. So what I want to present today is how we can help our little ones. Now, becoming more common, increasingly common, is malnutrition manifesting as childhood obesity. I think if all of you walk around, you will have seen that it is becoming quite a big problem. And it is as a result of, but not limited to just these things, but as a result of food that is highly processed. You know, those breakfast cereals that you give as a convenient food, inadequate physical activity. And then there's also, by the way, a link with underactive thyroid function that might cause obesity in children and adults, obviously. And then there's also a link to exposure to toxins. And I want us always to remember the role that toxins play in making us all quite sick. So what does Neolife focus on? That is something to always remember. Right. Now, we are advised that to be well, we have to be doing a lot of physical activity and managing weight. We need to be eating enough whole grains, real whole grains. We need to do fruit and vegetables, protein, and a little bit of fat and sugar, a little bit. What is happening is that the typical lifestyle pyramid looks something like that, where people do way too much fats and sugars, and usually the fats are not even real fats, but junk fats, as I like to call them, the hydrogenated, highly processed fats. And then they do hardly any whole grain because it's difficult to come by the way. And then physical activity is very, very little indeed. Just to switch off the television, they don't even have to stand up anymore. And they play computer games and not real games that we used to play. So ideally, when we are born and we look forward to living for a long time, our health status should be in the energetic zone for as long as possible. But the reality now is that a lot of health is being lost. And we find that by the age of about 20 or earlier, actually, this curve has shifted further this side. People become more and more tired and sick. So it's difficult to understand, but I think we have the reasons for that. And here goes. Neolife, for a long time, for 63 years that it has been in existence, said that the way to nourish us, our bodies, is by making sure that the cells are healthy. Because unhealthy cells, which are not getting the right building material for the cell membrane and other membranes in there, don't allow nutrients in, and they don't allow the effects of the activity of that cell, we can call them toxins, out. So that cell becomes unhealthy. So they came up with a solution a long time ago called TreaNN. And its role is actually to replace those oils and the right lipids and sterols, as we like to call them, that have been processed out of all our food. So if you're eating a modern diet, and if our children are eating a modern diet, they're not getting those right oils, and therefore they start at an early age because, you know, as I mentioned earlier, it's more convenient to give them a cereal in a box than to actually look for these things. So in that cereal and all those other things, there is quite a lot of sugar. And I learned today that if you are not reading your labels, you might not recognize that sugar on food labels goes by a zillion names. It has so many names that they call it. Okay, sugar is not just sugar anymore. You may have seen a word like maltodextrose or maltodextrin or something like that. That is sugar. Now, what is wrong with sugar? Sugar is highly addictive. It is a pivotal thing in emotional eating. And why do I bring up emotional eating? You know, mothers and grandparents and, you know, well-meaning relatives will reward a child with something sugary, okay? And slowly but surely, from an early age, our children are developing habits that might not really serve them going forward. And that is a big danger. Then obviously sugar also does a lot of damage. And here are some of the things: hormonal imbalances, because right from an early child, the child is on this sugar roller coaster and therefore insulin roller coaster. And insulin is one of the hormones, and that is one of the things that is totally out of balance. And once one or two or a few hormones are out of balance, everything is out of balance, unfortunately. Sugar depletes the immune system. Apart from competing with vitamins and key nutrients, it also actually depresses the immune system by 4 to 6 hours after eating something with sugar in it. And then if the child is frequently eating, that means that the immune system is perpetually compromised, okay, depleted or depressed. Then it corrodes the inside of blood vessels. It's a very powerful oxidizing agent. It corrodes. And this sets our children up early in their childhood for future blood vessel, heart and blood vessel diseases. We call them cardiovascular diseases. Then, once the body is depleted of all those other nice nutrients like vitamin C, then it depletes the body's collagen. And this just sets the poor child up for future rapid aging, you know, so that they start manifesting wrinkles earlier than they should. So I'm not wanting to dampen your spirits. I know we all love our cakes and cookies and all that, but if we can train up the children early and train them up well and get their taste buds trained and their palates trained and their stomachs and their general mind trained to the right food that they should be eating, then I believe that when they become adults, they will be able to end the trend of chronic disease. Okay, so we need to become more strict about sugar. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, if you were here to hear something that made you feel good, I'm not going to do that for you today. So there are lots of naturally sweet foods in the form of fruits and vegetables that will supply the right type of sugar without causing addiction for that child and future problems. So fruits and vegetables are much better than highly processed foods. Right. So the question now is, who can we trust? Because I know for a fact that a lot of mothers say, after all, I'm giving them the gummy bears, or sorry, there were those other vitamins and things that we are buying over the counter. All right. But do you know that a research that was done between 2007 and 2016 showed over 700 products that were marketed over the counter as dietary supplements contained hidden active ingredients that are unsafe or unstudied. And one of those ingredients is actually sugar. And I've actually read labels of medication, and it also says quite a bit of sugar. So what are we dealing with? A lot. But now let's talk about the solution so that we have time to discuss. This is what we call the core nutrition for children. We have a shake, we have VitaSquares, we have VitaGuard, but let me go over them quickly. Liquivite might not be in all the markets, but we have it in the South African market and a few other markets. It is suitable for very, very young children because it's a liquid, and you can give it to a child quite early on. And we have NutriShake, which is ideal for adults and children alike. But this one is so important for children to have because it will give them all the 22 amino acids. And because children lay down about 1 billion cells every day, they are growing, in other words, okay? This one is important to give them the right nutrients, the right raw materials to build their bodies, their muscles, their brain, their other organs. And it helps with curbing addictive habits that sugar can contain, it can lead to. It has been formulated well to serve children. It is mixed with milk, but it is gluten-free as well and very low lactose. However, my granddaughter prefers Neolife Shake, which is mixed with water. She just likes it, and there's no harm there, none whatsoever. Then VitaSquares have TreaNN. TreaNN is that product that I showed you at the very beginning, the grain oil concentrates that are unique to Neolife, that are the same biochemistry as our cell membranes, and they are complete vitamin and mineral support. This container is enough for 2 children for a whole month, and it is so well priced, so well priced that it's a good investment. Then we have VitaGuard, which is packed with extracts of fruit and vegetables, fruit and vegetable concentrates, and it ensures that the container is enough for 2 children for a month. And then we have All-C. I love this one. It's supposed to be for children, but I'm always sucking All-C because apart from the good taste, it has made my skin incredibly smooth and healthy because vitamin C is required for building collagen. And collagen is found in all our tissues, every single tissue in our body, you name it. Bones, teeth, skin, liver, everywhere you need collagen. And the children need it more, maybe. But this is their formulation because it is a chewable one. And then all children need to develop their brains because they are growing and we want clever children. So this is a good combination. You can pair salmon oil with any of the other supplements, either the Liquivite or the other ones that are chewable. So our children are well taken care of. The capsule is, we call it the mini. It is, the quantity of omega is half of the bigger capsule. But there's nothing wrong with the children taking a bigger capsule, really, there isn't, but this is formulated with them in mind. Then I like to talk about vitamin A and D, very, very important. Cod liver oil protects the ears, the lungs against all those allergies, the intestines against all the various issues, the skin as well. And vitamin D is very important. Then I thought I would show you these fiber energy bars, which have been prepared so well and without sugar. They have natural sweeteners like cranberries and natural foods and fruits and nuts. So children would love them, and it would take care of any craving for sugar. Right, and then a presentation wouldn't be complete if we don't talk about toxins. It's important to eliminate toxins from the environment in which you're raising the children. And so we have the best non-toxic, highly effective and biodegradable cleaning products that are so versatile that they will save you money. In case you're wondering, how am I going to afford all the vitamins, the VitaSquares and the VitaGuard and the Omega? Protecting your child. And the protection extends to not disrupting the hormones, such as the thyroid hormone, which I pointed out is one of the things that can manifest in our children, resulting in sluggishness and obesity. Then, of course, the washing powder, one of my favorite products, for the same reason. We are always washing our children's clothes, their bed sheets, their pajamas, their sports gear. And we do not want residues left in them that will leave them compromised in the future. So one of our values as Neolife is to have a long-range vision. And the importance of that is that we should start now while children are very little, or even better still, before they are born, protecting them and preparing the environment for them so that when they are old, there's one of my favorite Bible verses. It's Proverbs 22, verse 6, which says, raise up a child in the ways that that child should go. And when they are older, they won't depart from it. And please, let us start now to raise them up so that when they are older, they will not fall into the trap of chronic disease. Okay, thank you very much. And I'm going to stop the recording so that we can have a discussion.